And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody. Welcome in another edition of TigerBait Live. We both played hooky last week, and but we're back refreshed, and I think we got a big show tonight. Lots to talk about. A lot of recruiting, baseball, football, Friday Night Lights this Friday. Brian Kelly and staff been hosting an impressive group of official visitors, unofficial visitors, campers, and all that discuss and a lot more. Welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike Scarborough, of course, publisher at TigerBait.com. Been doing it a long time. And dog days of summer. Both Mike and I have had a few ups and downs. We live by the high that we get of covering LSU football and all the sports that we concentrate on here in the capital city. Sometimes it's the Saints, sometimes the Jags. I was looking through my phone and going through some stuff, looking through some memorabilia and history with what's happened with LSU football. Les Miles suing LSU. We'll get into that. By the way, Shark has already given his legal expertise on that matter. Another big commitment is Eddie Yaman from Dayton. He is a catcher, can play a little first base, and a big-time pickup. And we'll get into all of the comings and goings of the transfer portal. And something tells me, you and I talked about it on the radio show today. You're itching for commitment, and I'm hoping that they roll the dice and snake eyes, and here comes a really, really big-time offensive lineman. He makes his commitment tomorrow at 11 a.m., and we hope that we'll be welcoming that young man.
Yeah, Carius Kern from Arkansas. I put in a prediction on TigerBait.com back in March for him. Kind of got a little quiet. Of course, an official visit to LSU last weekend. When I talked to him Monday morning, he said, I'm making an announcement 11 a.m. Thursday morning. And I think it's going to be a positive for LSU. And Brad Davis continues to prove, regardless of what happens tomorrow, but he continues to prove that he's one of the top recruiters in the nation. I know Frank Wilson's way up there. We're going to see what Corey Raymond ends up hauling in, but at some point we need Bo Davis to start to look that way as well.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, I've got a little bit of a Rory McIlroy cough. I've been choking up a little bit. Hard to see. I know you don't watch golf, but the U.S. Open, I've been there before. I've missed those three-footers before, not obviously with a magnitude of that, but if you have a putting phobia, and to see Bryson DeChambeau win it, that was some great stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw today where they give Tiger Woods a lifetime pass to participate in any tournament.
Yeah. And so we'll see what's happening there. So we got a little golf. We got a little CWS. A lot of LSU fans. Who do you pull for?
Boy, Sophie's choice. Tennessee or A&M. A&M up 2-0 right now.
Yeah.
They
were the best conference all year, and this is the way it's supposed to play.
Vitello, or are you kind of liking the idea that you can always, mock and have fun with A&M fans over the fact they've never won anything? Ole Miss, you could do that with until they won theirs. Do you want A&M to get theirs? Would you rather them or Vitello, who everybody loves to hate?
Yeah.
Vitello, I was joking with somebody the other day. I said, because we were talking about Will Wade. I was talking to a guy that covers Lake Charles, is in the Lake Charles media, and talking about, if Rick Barnes retires, that Will Wade would be a fit there. Can you imagine Will Wade and Vitello on the same campus? Because a lot of people, when he was at LSU, a lot of fans at other schools viewed him the same way people view Vitello in baseball.
Tony Vitello is, I think, going to win it. I think they got beat last year by LSU twice over in Omaha. They've been there 3 out of the last 4 years. I think it's their year. The number 1 overall seed has not won the Natty in college baseball since 1999. So they're going to break that streak. I think A&M lost Montgomery, the guy that LSU wanted. Everybody wanted coming over from Stanford. Had a brutal play at the plate and broken ankle, so he's done. They also lost another number 2 pitcher. So, and that's what it gets down to right now. A&M is playing Florida. Florida sent Kentucky home today 15-4. They had a 3-game, yet a little trio of games, a triple header today because last night they had some weather in Omaha. But Tennessee looks really good, and they've got 2 days off. They'll play Saturday. First game of the championship series is 6:30 on Saturday night, and looks like once again, Mike, it's going to be an all SEC final, in my opinion.
All right, everybody. If you're enjoying the show, please do us a favor. Hit that like button. It helps us with that YouTube algorithm. And make sure it's when you do that, YouTube will recommend it to other folks that are like-minded. And if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And, of course, our title sponsor each and every week is Pride Roofing. We'll talk about them a little bit later in the show, but let's dive into some of the comments. Roger Ramjet, right off the bat. Hey, Mike and Buddy, good to be with y'all. Always enjoy the show. Things are looking up. Go Tigers. Wilk, is D-line still the biggest worry? Absolutely. It is. LSU's been stuck at 11 commitments for quite some time. So whether it's talking about the current team and recruiting, that's still the biggest worry. But, Bo Davis is going to get his share. I think you need to get at least 3 high school guys in this class, don't you think? And then maybe 1 or 2 portal defensive tackles as well. I mean, that whole position is going to need to be rebuilt. So,
but here's the exciting thing, Mike. Bo Davis is more as a developer of talent than a guy that brings in 4 and 5-star recruits on the D-line. So now he is molding that clay. They are working their ever-loving butts off. And this is not easy work in this heat. This is picking up the tires. This is running the levee. This is doing your stadiums. This is throwing, catching. This is when you find out about the leadership. It's hot as hell. By the way, I went back to some of our practice reports last year, and one of them, folks, I have it right there on the phone. We went and we couldn't actually finish the report, because the camera was so hot, remember? It got heated up, but I wanted to see what he can do with Gio Paez and Jacoby and Gilry and Jalen Lee, and they've got bodies. But how much you mentioned it today? Can Dominic McKinley get that weight down and be a guy that can play in the second half of the season? So I want to see how quickly, and that really is big. One of the big stories: how quickly can Blake Baker, Bo Davis, and all those guys transform with their ideas and their philosophy into playing a more realistic LSU type of defense? Because last year, as we know, was certainly not sufficient for any Tiger fan that I know. Dane Bergeron. Good evening, Mike and Buddy. Glad to be with us, Dane. As always, Chance Babin, who is the lesser of 2 evils in CWS, Tennessee or Tamo? That's my point. Well, I picked Tennessee, and I'm sorry.
I'm almost feel like I'm gonna be pulling for Tennessee in that one.
I have some Aggie friends that I don't want them to ever.
Exactly.
I don't ever
exactly.
Want to see them. Look, Tennessee.
As much as Vitello is that guy, I don't like the idea of A&M winning.
Yeah. So, but once again, you're talking about the SEC, and of course, as we know, 3 teams left in the CWS, all SEC. I don't know if people got that little joke I had, but I said it'd be an SEC final. Well, it's impossible because all the ACCs are now gone with the departure of Florida State today.
Barry Barbier with a question that why so many LSU baseball players in the portal?
Why not?
Look, I think there's a couple of guys in there that he probably wish were not in the portal. I think Brady Neal wants to be assured that he's going to be the starter, and that's not happening. So he got in the portal.
By the way, we broke that. Remember, about a month ago, we said, I mentioned it. You and I said, Brady Neal, I'm hearing conjecture, he's going to go to the portal. Boy, it lit up on the YouTube response. Well, why would Brady Neal go in the portal? Sometimes it just doesn't work. And if you saw him defensively late in the year, especially when Milazzo got hurt, he's not a good defensive catcher.
Not only that, he's got an injury problem.
He's got injury problems, and his bat went cold. Look, the question is, now it's a 12 because MJ Seo a guy that we'd never heard of seen before, got in the portal as well today. But if you add Javen Coleman, hit and miss, Brady Neal, hit and miss. Look, Cam Johnson came in here as a very highly talented guy that could throw almost 100. He can't throw it over the plate. And so if you saw Jay Johnson's exit interview with all the media, Mike, you were there. There was a lot. He kept saying, I wanted positive, positive, positive. There was a lot of crap going in the locker room this year. There was a lot of drama, and that's why the 11 are going. If you can't be a good part of a team together, everyone accomplishes more, and you're cancer and you're bitching because you're not getting reps or pitches or whatever, bye-bye. Paxton Kling, bye-bye. All of them.
So I kind of liked it. Why not? I like that answer. Kenny Haynes, Tiger Shark Buddy will definitely be an all SEC final, Tennessee, A&M, or Florida.
He caught it.
Yep. D. Scott Riggs, do you think Bear comes back? Sounds like he's doing good at the combine. No, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
And Dylan Cruz hits his first AAA home run.
By the way, if you have not seen Paul Skeens, man, it is must-see TV. I don't know how much Major League Baseball you watch. I don't really have a favorite team. I used to love the Astros years ago, but they gave away their facility for political convention for a whole month. So I said, that's enough with the Stros. But we know that they've had their moments. Bregman is doing better, but struggling. Probably going to lose the Stros. Do you follow any?
No, you know, when I was young, it was I think I was a Cincinnati Reds guy because of Pete Rose and Johnny Bench and all that. But
well, he is just unbelievable to watch if you keep up with him. But the Pirates, I equate Paul Skeens to Pittsburgh as Joe Burrow to Cincinnati. They've got some baggage as franchises.
Yeah. Give us some good news, Mike and Buddy. Well, Buddy agrees. We both agree that we think LSU is going to get another offensive lineman tomorrow, and that'll give LSU 12 commitments. I think the number right now is a little low for commitments. I think we're usually 15, 16 now, and then you get to September, and you're somewhere between 20 and 22. I think there's about to be a flurry of commitments. Look, you've got Kerne tomorrow. You've got the wide receiver Wiley on the 25th. You got the defensive tackle Xavier Apono from Texas on the 29th. I think that one looks pretty good. Zion Williams is on July 4th. I think LSU is in good shape there. So that's two defensive linemen right there that you could possibly get in the span of 5 days.
Hey, Jonah Williams also came in, both a baseball and football player. I think he had a great visit. Now, here's a question that I kind of started to pick my brain with. A guy that talented, we talk about it, Mike. It's not easy to play two sports at this level. I think Jared Mitchell and Chad Jones are two of them, and there's been some other ones. Jeremy, the punter, and there's been some other ones.
Jackson.
Bottom line is, Chris Jackson. But bottom line is that Jeremy Witten was the other guy too. Can this guy maybe get a little bit of baseball NIL money and over here a little football NIL money? Do you think?
Oh yeah, because that's it used to be
because they're both BK and JJ are both working on this kid, and he had great pictures. I'm sure you saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, because now it's like it doesn't matter. It used to be, well, if you're a two sport, you have to be on football scholarship, and shoot, with NIL now, none of that matters.
Love to see him. He's a big time safety, a left-handed pitcher, and an outfielder. He looked good in that LSU uni.
James Charles, wish you and Kendall from D1 Baseball would have a postseason. We are going to do one. We're going to wait until the whole thing's over with, and once we've got a darn good idea of LSU's transfer portal class, Kendall's been on top of that. Is better than anybody. It's amazing how he gets all that news for the most part before anybody else. And so we're going to do a one more show after the CWS is complete, and I guess another few weeks more of transfer portal. So I'm looking forward to talking to Kendall again about that.
One other little piece of good news. I was asking out loud about the number that John Emery would wear. CJ Daniels coming in from Liberty had a good spring. He's going to be in the top 3 or 4 receivers to start the season. He's wearing 4 on offense. Of course, Perk's going to wear 4 again on defense. And so he's going to look more like a fullback, as John Emery is now listed on the roster as number 44, 6 foot, 224. And I think, Mike, this is it for him. We saw him in a picture of a UCLA uniform, and that didn't work out. So he came back, and he's going to play in Tiger Stadium. Boy, he plays really well in Tiger Stadium against Alabama. But do you think he can, Mike and I got a quick story because he was there when Emory was being heavily recruited. And I think he was a Georgia commit or a lean at the time. You said, man, they got to get this kid. He had fumbled 4 times in that game. You remember? We were on the phone. And I said, man, that's not something that you want to carry over here because coaches stress ball security. But I hope that young
at that point, I wasn't saying they have to get this kid. No.
But invariably they did.
It was John Ehret versus Destrehan.
Yeah. But he's got to catch the ball out the backfield well. He's got to pick up the blitz. We know he can run, but he's got to hold on to the freaking football because I think it was psychological before he got hurt last year or whenever last time he was in the mix.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's back, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're running up against the clock and the calendar with Trey Holly and getting his legal situation remedied, you can do a lot worse than getting John Emery out of the portal to come back. That's easy. That's almost like a gift. So, sure would like to see Caden Durham get brought up to speed in a hurry, and Caleb Jackson know absolutely every blocking assignment that he needs. All right, we're brought to you each and every week by Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez at Pride Roofing. Let's hear from them.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There you go. Give them a call, 855-PRIDE-16. Say TigerBait when you call to get your free roof inspection, and they're going to pay for you to have TigerBait Premium free for a year. That's a $99 value. Sent out a few more emails in the last few weeks for folks who have gotten that promo, and please check your spam or junk box because I haven't heard back from a couple of you to clinch that offer. But can't beat them. Of course, based in Hammond, Mike Faraday and LSU and Broadmoor High graduate. Offices in Houma, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and of course, real big on the North Shore. And we were talking about it on your show earlier today. Knock on wood. All the weather folks for the last few months talking about how this could be a really bad hurricane season. Hopefully, we don't have it, but if you do, remember Pride Roofing and give them a call, 855-PRIDE-16.
Look, residential, commercial, and metal roofs. We continue to talk about metal roofs. The popularity has gone through the roof. Of course, with the acquisition of Crown Metals, they have changed the roofing game. A lot of people doing business with them throughout the South, as Mike said. A lot of sponsorship in Hammond with Southeastern, and really good people who live up to what we say here. The roof over your head is just as important as the roof over theirs. They take great pride in the job they do. We've had many of you do business with them. You have given incredible reviews. Once again, always a free roofing inspection. And Mike, we're talking about first-class shingles, the whole 9 yards. We do roofing repairs, whatever you need from A to Z. Pride Roofing, once again in Baton Rouge. Mike Kirby, he's busy. If you get an answering machine, 275-2041, leave him a message. And as always, outside 855-PRIDE-16. And, you know, I'm going to throw something out here. I know it's the dog days of summer, but wouldn't it be nice if we could be saying middle October going into November, how about that defense? That's what a lot of these older, over 50 guys with the Chinese bandits, give them an opportunity. You'll have that kind of pride as you do the Chinese minutes, all these national championship teams when you do business with them, and make sure you tell them that Mike and Buddy sent you over.
Absolutely. Dane Bergeron says Garrett Edwards will make his first start in single A this weekend, coming off Tommy John. All right. Kenny Haynes says go Vols and Vitello to Texas. Ann Oye says, hey guys. John Smith says all SEC. Kelly Watley, Mike and Buddy watch a lot of LSU shows. Always enjoy yours the most. Thank you for that, Kelly.
That's very, very nice. And look, a lot of people have input, and we're, Mike's a middle-aged guy. I'm an old guy, but we love this stuff. And we understand how important it is for their psyche, their life, their relationships, and their businesses. Because once again, this is big money. And we'll get into it at some point with Les Miles suing LSU, not for monetary reasons, but to try and get the victories that were taken off the board back so he can qualify.
Well, let me go ahead and dive in that. You queued it up, and I'm and Kenny's in the chat, and of course Kenny is the unofficial attorney of TigerBait, and he's also the sponsor of our Batter Up segments with Kendall Rogers, and he's the one that is making those happen. And so he addressed that on the message board, and I'm going to read a little bit of it. He says his suit alleges a conspiracy to deprive him of his due process rights under the 14th Amendment. It's filed in federal court, which leads me to believe it's some kind of Section 1983 action. His lawsuit has one giant factual problem that I'm pretty sure he will not be able to overcome. That little thing he forgot to mention involves his one-loss record in that job he took at the University of Kansas. He was 3-18 there. His wins and losses at Kansas have as much to do with his inability to get in the Hall of Fame as the forfeited wins at LSU. And and by the way, he says another problem is that he has no property right in the wins, and the NCAA and LSU were free to settle their dispute in whatever manner they wish without his input. And so his old contract with LSU made that clear. Thus, Leslie has no standing to challenge the settlement. And again, I'll say what I've said on multiple shows. I don't think this is Les Miles. I think this is probably family trying to secure his legacy. I don't know what where Les is on a daily basis health-wise, but that's not going anywhere. My thought on it was the equivalent of in 20 when LSU, as a part of their self penalties, forgo a bowl, and that'd be like the Texas Bowl suing LSU because whoever they took didn't bring as many fans as LSU might have. That has no bearing on anything.
Well, look, I want to give props for Les, and I think that generally speaking, when you have as gaudy a record as he had for a while there, he had 7 years where he had double-digit wins at LSU. Now, look, he didn't inherit a bare cupboard. We know that Saban had set the table and already won a natty. I still give Les credit. And look, if there's a Hall of Fame he deserves to be in, it's on special teams and trick plays and fourth down. Okay, to see him embarrass Spurrier with over the neck shoulder to Colt David for the touchdown on the fake kick. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Then he went like 5 or 6 years where he didn't do anything like that.
Well, he got all this money and got conservative. But my point is that he did win a natty, but he also got beat 21-0 in the national championship game and didn't cross the 50-yard line and had that hard ass to keep Jordan Jefferson in the game and all that crap going on with the team.
I know you don't think he belongs. Let's say he did have the winning percentage to get in, and I don't know if you still wouldn't say he.
No, he got beat 21-0 in the national.
No, I don't think that.
No, there's not a coach in the country.
I would need to see who's in there coaching wise.
Yeah,
I would need to see some of the names in there because I guarantee you there's probably some names in there that if you don't think Les Miles belongs, they don't belong either.
Well,
I mean, how many losses did Tom Osborne possibly have? I mean, how long did it take him to finally win one?
But look, buddy, Tom Osborne and Les Miles are not on the same planet.
No, but how many national championship opportunities did he lose?
Well, I don't think Les Miles is a Hall of Fame coach.
And I'm not arguing for him.
You can disagree with me. You don't get beat 21-0 and look like that in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans and let everybody down and be that unprepared. And you're a Hall of Fame coach.
I think he went 5 or 6 years too long at LSU, and that I was vocal about it. Probably hurt me a bit, but I got to the point with seeing how the sausage was made with him, where I just he went way too long. And
now look,
and when Oliva did what he did in that post game in 2015, I tell you what, I wanted to get in the fetal position for about a month. I mean, that was disgraceful.
Let's not bring up sausage and less right now.
Yeah,
probably not a good idea. Probably not a good idea.
Yeah,
That's another thing I think doesn't help him. All of that crap that came out after the stuff with the lawsuit, all the allegations. I just don't think
a lot of that's been thrown out, and people now owe him money from that.
Yeah,
but
But anyway, it's interesting, and like Pablo and I, of course, from Channel 2, we had this. This is one of the reasons why people stay around here. Something crazy, something interesting, and with less, something quirky is always happening. I mean, look what's happened in the last couple of years. Multi-championship, Jay Johnson championship. Another shout out to Jay Clark. Most people I've asked what was the highlight of the LSU year, Mike. Most media people I've had on say gymnastics winning it all was certainly one of the highlights, if not the highlight of the year for you LSU Tiger fans.
Chris Melder, thoughts on Keelan Moses taking visits? Look, anytime that happens and Moses says they're giving him a lot to think about, it kind of gets you nervous. And of course, look, his older brother was at one time an LSU commitment and was just as thoughtful and good as interviews and said all the right things for a period of time. And so I think that makes a lot of people nervous that there's some deja vu. But I don't think that's going to happen here. I really don't. I don't. Well, let's see how it plays out.
Well, he's been one of the vocal leaders in his class and has texted everybody, and certainly they all share all of that stuff. And I said this, and I may be talking out of my ass or whatever, but there are schools that are given a nice bag of money just to visit. And we talked about this. We don't know the money, whether it's $5,000 or $1,000 or whatever. And so if you are locked in on LSU and somebody says, hey, come on. And I mean, this stuff is going on now. We know.
I think it's the people that are locally will give $5,000 not to go.
Well, my point is that we
$25,000 in a Rolex Submariner and I'll go.
But you've always said this now. Watch what people do, not say. So I don't want to see him going back to A&M anymore.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Then I would become a little concerned.
All right. Dane Bergeron says Emory needs to hold on to the ball. 2-0 A&M in the fifth inning. Mose said A&M showing him more love. We'll see about that. When does Kelly speak to the media again?
July 15th.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna look. He's
probably no. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, that's right. July 15th is SEC media days, and then he'll do the Rotary Club, and then we'll start going.
But I think he's going to do some interviews with select media before then.
Yeah.
And I think as will assistant coaches.
Golf course.
And in fact, I think we're
at the golf course.
Yeah.
Mike likes to tease Coach Kelly about loving the. Hey, Coach, I used to play a lot of golf in my younger years, and one thing about it, in the heat, the golf ball goes a little further than it does in South Bend. He's probably hitting it 250 over here, where in South Bend he's lucky he hit 230, maybe 280, whatever he hits it. But look, folks, it's around the corner. I got to get in shape. I got to get acclimated because we know it's going to be burning up. But this is an incredibly important.
Yeah, we got to get in shape just to go out there for 30 minutes.
Well, hey,
I mean,
you can imagine.
I mean, what do we have? Like 8 days of 105 last August. I mean,
like I said, I looked at some of the stuff, and I'm hoping that we once again can avoid hurricanes and give us a little break with the heat. But this is when that football team is bonding and working, and let's see what Jake Flint can get to them physically, mentally, psychologically, because I think everybody will agree with this one point. LSU's got to start the football season faster and better, more organized, and people don't want to see that slow start again. You got a new quarterback starting. You got a new coordinator for the most part. You got 6
you lose to USC, and this place is going to melt down. I'm telling you.
You think it's hot,
Especially after all summer long of making fun of Lincoln Riley for not being afraid of playing SEC schools.
Can you believe
you better win? You better win that game.
He got out of it. Ole Miss and USC got out of the a 2-year game that the contract, and I can understand to this extent. Who knows what you're going to need to do from a non-conference schedule now, going from 4 to 12, and invariably in 2 more years going from 12 to 14. Is it better to play a tough schedule, or how does it all play out? You know, there's going to be a lot of teams next year 10-2. So how do you differentiate all those 10-2 teams? Let
me ask you this: now that you bring that up, you know, before the schedule got released, once Oklahoma and Texas, you know, what was that, a year or 2 ago, and doing the 8, and then everybody saw the schedule and said, you know what, they actually did a damn good job of scheduling 8 games for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that's going to stick, or do you think they're eventually going to get to 9?
Well, that's the other burning question. They'll have 2 years to know what you need to do to get into the 12. And just because LSU was 13 last year doesn't mean they were 1 spot away. You've got different.
But I can tell you right now, if you go to 9, I don't want to see an opening game like these anymore.
Well, no, there's no way. And I don't know if they can go to.
I want to see New Mexico State.
And the other question here is the SEC championship game going to be beneficial? My point is that let's say Georgia is the East. Well, no more East, my bad. Let's say Georgia and whoever else you wanted, Alabama, Texas this year, no more East, West. So instead of LSU being picked 3rd in the West or 2nd in the West, going to be a number. People I talk to probably in the 6 range, 6 or 7. Georgia, Bama, Texas, Missouri. Who am I missing? All of the top. Ole Miss. Ole Miss is going to be up there ahead. I'm in LSU right around at 6. You still got Tennessee, Oklahoma, and A&M. I mean, it is a loaded football conference, but that's what we don't know, Mike. Moving forward, is it beneficial to have a tough non-conference game, or should you play cupcakes? And as you know, there's a rule where the SEC says you've got to play 1 power non-conference team. LSU doing both this year with USC and a return trip from UCLA.
Texas Tiger with a super chat. One of our top subscribers and good friend of the show says, "Go Tigers." Lots of offensive line recruits. Amazing. Yeah, Brad Davis again, just doing amazing work. And I know I sound like a broken record, but we haven't gone this many years in a row where we haven't talked about offensive line being an issue. And usually I'm thinking a year ahead, knowing what is about to get lost, even with losing Emory and Will Campbell, et cetera, off this upcoming team. I'm not worried about the future of the offensive line after this year, because they're so. He's got depth, he's got recruiting boards, he's in good with all these recruits, and his players love him. So, you start asking me rate top assistants on the staff. What are your criteria? If it's is it just your recruiting? Is it them as a on the field coach? I think Coach Davis is the all around package.
He checks all the boxes. By the way, PFF sent out a early top 10 offensive tackles going into this year. Offensive lineman, actually. Will Campbell rated number 1. Guess who wasn't on that top 10 list?
Emory
Jones. And man, big old 50. I still love that replay. I forgot what game it was. He is pancaking a guy, and he hits that guy. And Mike, he drives him about 15 yards out of bounds. And as we know, 50 is going to be gone. 66/7 Campbell going to be gone. And then Garrett Delaware and Miles Frazier at left guard and right guard. So you're going to replace 4 of the 5 offensive starting linemen. DJ Chester will be the center. He'll stay. But everybody else is going to be new starters next year other than Chester. So there's no doubt. Wesley Davis and guys like that come in here, learn. And I'll tell you what, Bordelon is going to be dependent on next year to start.
Saw Will Campbell in the indoor facility last week for one of the camps and talked to him briefly. And, man, he looks great. I tell you who else looks great is Chris Hilton. But he always looks great.
He won the Freak of the Week award, first one that Jake Flint gave out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And goodness gracious, knock on wood that he can stay healthy and catch the deep ball.
That's one of the great deals about us going out to camp. And, of course, it's not a media opportunity, so we don't, sometimes you'll get a picture of a current player working out in the afternoon on their own, but we're not supposed to cover them or do anything with them, so we don't. But we get to see them, and man, a lot of these guys look excellent. But it's really fun. The guys who are not midterm grads every year that show up in June to see what progress they make from June to August. I mean, some of these guys can add 15 pounds, 20 pounds of muscle that quick, particularly when you've got that room full of groceries at the front of the facility, feeding them 10-course meals every day.
Chris Hilton had a big-time spring. Look, Kyron Lacey, Chris Hilton, C.J. Daniels, Xavier Thomas, Aaron Anderson, on and on and on. Kyle Parker, Shelton Sampson. We talked about 2 rookies coming in, freshmen, Kylan Billiot and Jelani Watkins, and I'm sure there's a couple of them not including, but LSU has wide receivers. And here's the question that I didn't get a chance to ask you today, but Trey'Dez Green is coming in. Now, they list him about 6'7", 237. He's not going to be on the line of scrimmage and blocking anybody. Do you think they move him in the slot and use him as a big, or does he become just the tight end that is primarily a receiver? I'd love to see matchups with him. That's a big man.
See, the problem with that is you've got so many good wide receivers as you're trying to rotate and get on the field already. Are you going to do something special with him? And then that, it's one of those deals where it's like, okay, you know what he can do, but are you more likely to get the possibility of a much bigger play with an Aaron Anderson on yards after the catch?
I just meant, a little 7-yard drag route when you need a first down
but
because he's so big. Look, Mason Taylor's another guy you and I both think will have more balls this way.
Yeah, I think Taylor
and Nussmeier will have a great relationship.
Yeah, I agree. John Smith says, love this show. Mac Brown doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame, says Todd Davis.
Like you said,
if Mac Brown is in there, I can make an argument for Les Miles if he didn't have that winning percentage problem. But all right, let me scroll down and get to some more of these. All right, let's scroll up. Give me a second, guys. Yeah, Dane Bergeron said it's flooding along the coast south of Lake Charles right now. Man, the Lake Charles, they deserve 50, 60 years of no issues for what they've endured the last 5, 6 years.
And that must be a reference to Tropical Storm Alberto. And look, we get these names and we go through them. And once again, with the crazy situation with house insurance and a lot of companies not writing home insurance in the state anymore, we need one more year. But I agree. If there's anybody that deserves a break this year, once again, it's not only the state, but specifically Lake Charles.
John Sibley Butler disagrees with me. He says Mac Brown is a great selection for the Hall of Fame. Look, he has won a lot of games. I say that because we always kind of viewed him as a bit of a used car salesman. And, when a guy's that talks the way he does, you just wonder, is that for real? And but there's no denying the wins at Tulane and Texas, and now what he's done at North Carolina. Of course, a national championship at Texas.
That was an incredible game. Now, Matt Leinart still to this day tells people that USC was a better team, but Vince Young and that was an incredible game. Of course, they have not done much since then. They had one other opportunity, and their quarterback got hurt running the option against Alabama. But I'm going to say it again, and I'm already seeing this. The thing that's going to piss off the LSU fans more than anybody this year is the Texas faithful coming to the internet, coming to social media, the teeth sippers acting like they won diddly squat and acting like and they've already got pulled. They got the freaking SEC Media Days in Dallas. Look up the first year schedule for Texas. Much, much easier than Oklahoma. But the question is, can Sark put together another big year? That was the best year he's ever had. And can they get into the 12? You expect them to be in the 12, right? But What can they do? How do you feel
I
about
just,
Texas as the
I
big
just really don't like the idea of them coming to the SEC and being a power right off the bat.
That's not going to happen. They're going to have some. They're going to have some cuts and bruises.
Yeah. But back to Mac Brown, it was before Saban arrived, he was probably on during the bad years of DiNardo and Hallman. He was one of those guys that a lot of people would have on their coaching short list. He probably showed up on that list about as often as Tim Floyd did during the John Brady years. But of course, he was on the LSU staff. Stovall?
Yeah.
Early 80s. But yeah. All right. Yeah, that's Mick says Mac Brown was our first Joe Brady.
Yeah, Mac Brown had some influence with calling plays. I have Risher on the show all the time, and of course Ed Zonberger, Mac Brown, and all those guys. Mac was a very good coach. Do you think he's overstayed his welcome? I mean, look, he's I don't know. Mac's got to be 70 something now, huh? Somebody out there, Google Mac.
Yeah,
Brown.
but he's also a young guy for his age.
Yeah. And so look, this is started with Bear Bryant. After Bear Bryant retired, he died 3 or 4 months later, and so coaches had this phobia. We don't want to retire because it might.
So we're talking about him at 76 and the nice job he's done at North Carolina. What about I'm sitting there saying man, Paul Maneri is 61. I don't know.
No, he's 66 now.
Is he
66?
Yeah, that's right. And he'll be 67 before the season starts.
He's 66. And folks, if you believe in a second life, you want to come back as a fired coach. Monty Williams was the coach of the Detroit Pistons. He coached 1 year, and they said bye-bye to him because the owner got mad at him. $65 million. Jimbo Fisher was at A&M, $70+ million. Edo, $17 million. Bo, I'm going to play golf every day of the freaking week. Pelini, $5 million to leave. It's a lucrative business, Mike. We're not good enough to be coaches, but if there's a second life, I want to come back as a fired LSU coach and give me my 15 or 20 million. I'll go to the house.
Yeah. John Sibley.
Monty, $65 million not to coach.
That's amazing. John Sibley Butler with a super chat, a big one, $50. Thank you so much, Mr. Butler. As always, one of our best guys and supporters of TigerBait. How good is LSU in this new format? I have the Tigers playing Bama or Texas in the SEC championship game. Wow.
That's John Sibley?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Man, I'm over here thinking 8-4.
I don't have any numbers. Most of I want to at least see what happens and what goes on into the camp and all that. But look, to me, Georgia has the best guns in the cupboard. They've got everything.
And Ole Miss is and LSU doesn't play them.
Pushed all their chips in. Alabama and Caleb DeBoer, they're going to be good. And Texas is going to be good. Those four right out of the gate. Missouri's pesky and got an easy schedule. LSU, if they can win the first couple of games in Vegas.
LSU schedule's favorable.
If they take care of USC and then go take care of those Banny Rooster Cocks, South Carolina. I'm going to make you a little prediction.
11:30 kickoff.
11 o'clock in the third weekend. And guess who Carolina's going to introduce, in my opinion? Paul Maneri.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to work. The thoughts are all there. But you lose to USC and then you wake up sleepy and you're behind at halftime. This phone, your phone, they're going to be blowing up. But if you win at the beginning and you're 5-0, then you've got an open date and getting ready for Ole Miss. Last time Ole Miss came in undefeated, Mike, they were 2 years ago. They were 7-0 and ranked 7th in the country. And BK beat him in his year one. He's got to beat Ole Miss and Alabama and USC if he wants to get LSU in the 12.
You bring that up. We already knew that South Carolina was on next season's baseball schedule. Do we know if that's at home or over there?
It's over there.
Okay. John Sibley Butler, thank you big time for that.
Thank you, John.
Super chat. All right. Alumni Hall. I got to talk about them. It's let's see. There we go. Folks, Alumni Hall, Tiger fans, best place to get all of your LSU gear. Shop at their store on Blue Bonnet and Perkins Row, or shop online at alumnihall.com. They've got it all. Nike gear, Champion, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, Johnny O. You see all the polos up on the screen. Nobody has a better store full of LSU polos, and all the new stuff is arriving for football season. The stuff that the coach is going to be wearing on the sideline, those things get swapped out every season, and the new ones are arriving. In fact, I've got the new one at the bottom of our content item on the front page of TigerBait. Those are starting to roll in. Get over to their store, Perkins Row, and you can earn rewards on future purchases with their Hall Pass Rewards program. I have the discount code to share with all my friends and subscribers. When you shop, use code TigerBait, all one word, in store or online, and you'll get 10% off your purchase. Go shop with my friends at Alumni Hall and use the code TigerBait to save. And again, you can use that at the register if you're shopping in person, or you can use it online at checkout. You put it in the promo code or discount code box. And the great thing about Alumni Hall is if you buy something from their online store, it's shipping from Baton Rouge. So a good chance you're going to get it in a couple of days versus a lot of other online places that have to ship from Connecticut and everywhere else.
Had one of my friends go over there, got the discount, talked about TigerBait. She was picking up some stuff for her son, big baseball fan. They've got the whole thing. You hear me every week talk about it. Give yourself a half hour when you get in that store. There's just so many tidbits and nuggets and great quality stuff. And I guess we always ask this question at this time, but what would you foresee to be the most popular jersey that is sold this year? You know, Perkins did a deal a couple of years ago where he had some of his own little stuff, but what's the big number?
I think Nussmeier is going to get the quarterback, of course. And I think Will Campbell and Emory Jones jerseys are
going. Does Campbell get the 7 or does he get the 66? It's weird seeing him when he's out at the practice field and he's wearing that 7.
Yeah, which one would they sell? I think you would
probably both if they're smart. But yeah, you got to love Emory Jones. And it was how many years ago? This was before Emory was even here, and Mike at his old place saw Emory, and Emory told Mike, he said, you know, I'm not coming to sit. And of course, not being in spring, not being an early enrollee and going in spring held him back a little bit. But he's been phenomenal. And I don't know if we're going to see a pair of bookend tackles like Campbell and Emory Jones from the state of Louisiana. It could be a long time before we see two like that again.
Absolutely. John Sibley Butler also nails it. I have not seen Ole Miss perform in the clutch. Georgia played the old SEC weak South. Texas will beat Georgia by 2 touchdowns in Austin. Wow. All right.
I don't remember exactly what game. I do know this. Oklahoma has an incredibly brutal schedule, and their last 2 games.
Yeah, when their schedule came out, they weren't as happy as LSU fans and a lot of other teams.
But their last 2 games in the season, hosting Bama and at LSU, that's a double whammy right there. But Mike, that's the question. See, none of us know. Because you've got 16 teams and you don't have East and Western divisions, you have no idea what the media is going to be throwing.
But also think they're going to take their lumps, okay?
Everybody.
But what is it like to be a Sooner fan when you see that schedule and you get your season ticket book and you have those type of games coming in Norman, right? Alabama and whatever else they got versus Iowa State and Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they've got to just be tickled. I mean,
and look, Quinn Ewers.
Same thing for Texas.
Quinn Ewers is the the quarterback over at Texas, and he's had some injury problems. He's good when he's on, but when he's off, and do you think that Arch Manning gets some where, you know, we've had this conversation. Where do we think Arch is going to be, and when is the light going to go on for him, and when is he going to get that opportunity? Does Arch play, or is he kind of like Walker Howard, where he starts to get a little impatient because he doesn't get any reps? What do you think for Arch Manning this year?
I think he's going to play some, but it's kind of, you know, when does he get in? I mean, I just think just from injury and getting nicked up, you're going to see him. He's going to get some opportunities.
Yeah. ABC, once again, no more CBS and Gary Danielson. And other than that intro song and the production, CBS games were too long, Mike. We know that. And I'm not a fan of Danielson in that group, but it's got to be a rude awakening. I thought I saw the first couple weeks of their schedule. Man, it pales in comparison to that SEC first week or two.
Chance Babin. What are the odds that Will Smith, pitcher from Catholic High, it will end up on campus next year?
That is a hell of a question. Catholic High, congratulations. They were named the actual national champion as the high school baseball team. I forgot what group it is. It's obviously not by any tournament or anything, but just the overall rankings. This young man is fantastic. I looked at his stuff today, 0.44 ERA. He could get picked, but he loves LSU so much, he went to the regional in Chapel Hill. Reminded me when Zach Van Rosenberg, remember, went to Omaha, remember? And then all of a sudden came back, decided to go baseball. Of course, he barely came back as an LSU punter, but I'd love to see that.
If you see Von Rosenberg, ask him what he thinks of Paul Maneri.
I'll tell you what, you can say whatever you want about Coach Maneri, but to get a 1.3 contract, 1.3 million for 5 years at 66 tells you that.
All right, you don't like to make predictions about the upcoming football season, but over under on how many years he coaches at South Carolina. I've said it at 2.
I'm gonna say he's gonna go over and make 3.
All right,
but it's
but 2 is the point. You're taking the over, but
I'm
you think he's going to go 3?
I think he's gonna go 3.
All right,
but look. The good thing about it is he no longer has the health issues, but Paul Maneri is going to do a great job. Every media guy that you talk to in Columbia, he's going to have him eating out the palm of his hand. He does great eye contact. He knows your first name.
Returns calls.
Returns call. He's great. He's going to give a lot of positive PR to South Carolina. But is he going to be in Omaha like all those other?
You know, buddy, I left Jay a lot of players.
I had Coach Maneri on about a month ago, and he's a class act, but I don't know if he's got enough gas in the tank to get Carolina to Omaha. And invariably, now this is a team that went back-to-back 2010-11. So you've already told people in Columbia, look, let's kind of tone down some of those expectations, huh?
Well, I said it's equivalent of them hiring Lou Holtz when they did.
Yeah.
But look, there's no doubt. And then he's got a they kept one of their hot shot assistants that's a known recruiter. And
brought Terry Rooney with him.
Yep. And
he's
so
a great recruiting coordinator and pitching coach.
We'll see. All right. Anything you want to add on the way out?
Just hope everybody stays hydrated, stay smart, enjoy your trip, represent Louisiana and this state in the right way. And we'll be back next week. I'm sure there'll be more portal action and activity. We'll always have football tidbits. Hard to believe the SEC Media Days is less than 4 weeks away. It's 4 weeks from this past Monday, once again in Dallas. Greg Sankey with the opening remarks, and then Brian Kelly is on day one. Always a lot of coach speak, but we'll get a little bit of a feel. And as we know, Garrett Nussmeier going to be at the Manning Passing Academy, and we'll continue to give you. Let's see if LSU can bring in that big offensive lineman with a recruit, and I think if it does, going to give you a little bit of momentum. Purple and gold. We gotta have some of this non-activity to get us going. And as always, you appreciate each and every one of you out there watching.
Absolutely. And thanks for all the super chats. And please, if you enjoyed the show, hit that like button. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. And we've got multiple recruiting updates on the front page of TigerBait.com. Please head over there and try us out for $1. Subscribe. You can try us out for a week, and you'll get text alerts for breaking news. And if you signed up for those, you possibly could be getting one of those in the morning to know for sure. And newsletters, the works, and we're planning on adding a lot more for this upcoming football season. So thanks for everybody for tuning in, and see you guys again back here next week. Good night.